The thing is that exploration videos can actually take quite a while to make, as you spend a whole bunch of hours exploring, sometimes as much as 10 hours, and you end up editing that down to a 20 or 30-minute video. So they can be quite long videos to make. It's granite. That's if you're talking to me and not Ant Dude. A small system here. So we're going to be doing a few jumps now on the way toward the next nebula. I'll be stopping off at anything that looks suitably interesting. Maybe we'll find an Earth-like on the route, or a gas giant right near a star, or something nice like that. But for now I'm going to keep jumping. This one's only got an asteroid belt in it, and that's that. That's right, Chaos Wolf, thanks for putting that there. Thanks, Chaos Wolf. I won't worry too much about your age, Sinstraff, and having your voice out there is one of the things you just get used to over time. You just do a little bit of it. Why not start off with just doing 5-minute videos or something like that? Get a feel for it. Better do some fuel scooping, otherwise I'm gonna find myself in a bit of a sticky situation, aren't I? Must be nice filling up at nearly 900 units a second. Chaos Wolf, you'd be done by now. Nope, Ant Dude, just give me a second, I'll whitelist you for the link. I still haven't configured the moderation up correctly yet, so it's doing some odd things with people. Let me just park up here and I'll whitelist you. There you go, Ant Dude. I think that should have done it. You should be good to go now. You might have got an 8-second ban there. Sorry about that if that's happened. Like I say, I need to configure the modbot up correctly. You should be alright to post links though now. It's actually deleted all your previous messages as well, isn't it? Which seems a little bit excessive. I need to fix that as well. What have we got? Nothing there that we're gonna go to immediately. I'm gonna keep on my way toward the next nebula. We can actually see the nebula there in the distance. I think that's the one anyway. The galactic core actually looks a little bit dull here, doesn't it? I guess that sun on there is very bright. I might actually start plotting a course slightly upwards, which will give us a little bit of a better view of the galactic core. I think I know what you mean there, Chaos Wolf. Yeah, I know what you mean. Funny thing that, isn't it? How your voice carries back to you, completely different to how it sounds to yourself. Yeah, thanks Ant Dude. I've actually updated the page now, so slowly getting there. The streaming channel's new, so adding a little bit here and there as I go, trying to get a feel for it and get everything set up as it should be. The modbot's the thing that looks like it's next on the list to be corrected, although I probably don't necessarily need a modbot there at the moment. Oh, then you're right. There's a couple of things really. One of them financially, other things just for the sheer experience of it. You can get money, although not a great deal, but they have upped the amount of money they reward you with. On my last trip out, I've made about 6 million, and I've heard people being out there for quite a few weeks exploring, then coming back to about 100+ million worth of credit. So you can get money, but the reason I actually do it for is finding the great sights out here to see. There's some really nice things to see out here that you just can't see in civilized space. So if you like seeing things, exploring is a thing to do. I think the thing is, Chaos Wolf, you spend your whole life hearing your voice in one particular way, so when you hear it played back, it's just always a bit of a surprise to think, you know, oh my god, that's not me, is it? I also wonder sometimes if it's slightly different for younger people now, because obviously with phones and the ability to take photos and videos all the time, they tend to be on photos and video a lot more than the older generations might have been. I don't know if I'm right on that, just a sort of thought, a random thought. Right, nothing there. Heading out this way toward the nebula over here. Got some nice, absolutely brilliant views in the previous nebula. Looks like there might actually be potentially a black hole or two out this way, so that's going to be worthwhile. And after that I'm heading toward the galactic core. Actually seem to be moving up a little bit at the moment, away from the galactic plane, so away from this dust layer. I actually wanted to fly through that dust layer, so not sure whether I should go up higher or go down lower really, because I would like to get in that dust layer. But look at the galactic core here. Looks very different to what we see when we're in the civilized systems, doesn't it? There's some actually wisps of black there. I don't know if you can see that very well on the video. Those are the things that were very apparent when I was in Bernard's Loop. I don't know if they're still there like they were. You can see it on one of my YouTube videos, as was pointed out earlier. I think it's episode 10 of my Exploring Elite Dangerous videos on the YouTube link you can see below. You actually fly over this really dark patch of black dust, which you can see down there, and I'm wondering whether I should go down a little bit so we can get a look at that, or whether I should just keep going up. I'm going to keep going up for the moment. You can link your channel, that's fine. What have we got this time? Need to refuel. Too busy talking, I'm forgetting to refuel sometimes. That's it, you're welcome. Chaos Wolf does some really good Elite Dangerous YouTube videos, so go check his channel out. That's fine, I understand that. Appreciate it as well. What have we got in this system? Looking for an Earth-like, if we can find one, or some unusual gas giants. We've got a high metal content planet way over here, but that is a long way away. Probably take 20 minutes or more of flying to get there, so I'm not going to go there. The rest is pretty much standard affair, so let's keep jumping. Let's get toward that lovely purple nebula that keeps tormenting us from the distance. Off to the side there, just look at it, just hanging there waiting for us to visit it. Half a tank in 15 to 20 seconds, that's brilliant. I've seen a few people sometimes question why they think you should go exploring with a large fuel scoop, when in fact a small fuel scoop will fill your tank up just the same, albeit at a slower pace. But I always say that when you're doing hundreds of jumps at a time, say you're going to do 200 jumps for example, some people do many more, and you've got your option 15 seconds to fill up a fuel tank, or you're going to take 3 minutes to fill up a fuel tank, and you're multiplying that by a factor of 200. That's a huge amount of time difference. That's okay, Chaos Wolf. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I think there's a huge amount of time difference when you have to fill up from a small fuel scoop. You're multiplying your refuel time by the amount of jumps you're going to do. It's going to take you a lot longer to get to your destination. Oh, look at that. That gas giant on the map looks like it's right on top of the sun. In fact it isn't. It's nearly 30 astronomical units away from the sun, which is what, 15,000 light seconds I think. Let's keep jumping for the minute. Oh, hi Matt Say, thanks for the comment. Nice to hear. Nice to see you here as well. Ah, hi Redeemer. Yeah, definitely nice to be able to visit places you've heard about or have some sort of knowledge about that exist out there somewhere in the galaxy. That's one of the reasons I went to the Pleiades Nebula at my first opportunity. And of course, for any of you that know your star sign, or I guess we all know our star signs, regardless of what we think about astrology, you can always go visit the constellation of your birth, which is a nice thing to be able to do. Yes, Cryos, this is unexplored space. We'll have a look in a minute. Not necessarily every system out here is fully unexplored. Some of them other people have got to first, but this one is unexplored. No one else has seen this one, or at least no one else has sold the data. I'm now six days out into my excursion. That's 6 real days for those of you that might not know too much about the game. And you can see here, this is where I am, and each star here, each dot here represents another star, and these are, look, 30 odd light years away from my current destination. And I can zoom right out and show you the entire galaxy there. There's 400 billion star systems we can explore, so no way we're going to get to all of those. and I'll show you how far I am away from Earth. Earth is way over here. I'm 6 days into the trip so far. It's just over 5,500 light years away. That's the distance. Don't look, maybe not like much on the map, but it takes quite a long time. I'm heading this way, right to the centre of the galaxy. Yeah, perhaps I'll have to do a video on visiting some of the constellations at some point, Pro Teddy. Yeah, it's a huge game, Nanunite. You can't make your own stations, unfortunately. What you can influence, though, is have a little bit of influence over where new stations are built. I don't fully understand the mechanics of that, but the way it works at the moment is that Frontier, the game developers, set up some community goals for a station's construction, and all the players can work toward that goal. And when that's achieved, the materials are then used for building a new in-game station. And I've just entered a binary star system here, so this is something that's usually quite nice to see, although it can be a bit of a danger when you're travelling, because you can get caught up between the two of them and find yourself overheating. I'll fly away from this star in a second and come back round so we can get a better look at the two stars. I'm going to swing back round and we can have a slightly better look. Here we go. Let's see where we're at. There we go. 2 suns. Sometimes you're lucky enough to find 3 suns right next to each other, or 3 stars. Let's get an external view of that. There we go. Some twin suns orbiting each other, both different class types, different types of suns. And we can have a little bit of a look at my ship as we do that. I'm going to back away a little bit from the ship, try and get a slightly nicer view of that. I love the shadows the sun's cast across there. Look how pure black it is on the right hand side of the ship. Really do like this new external camera. Gives us some wonderful shots of the ships and the environments. It was right, crows. That's a ASP, fully outfitted with quite a large jump drive and a rather nice fuel scoop and an advanced discovery scanner. I'm going to come round a little bit, I think, to the other side of the ASP. Try and get a slightly different angle on the view there. Quite like seeing these different views of the ships and the environments. Let's put it about as high as I'm going to get. Let's try and get all the suns in view. And of course you can see the nebula I'm heading towards right between the 2 suns there, and the galactic core. Ah, Virgo. That's interesting. Yeah, like I say, I think visiting constellations or places that you know of from the real world in this galaxy, fantastic things to go to. Some people are named after stars, for example. You can go and head toward that star and visit it. Yeah, but don't forget, crows, you can go exploring in a smaller ship too. The Hauler's a nice ship to explore in. The only downside is it does have a very small fuel tank, but it does have a good jump range. You can also explore in a Cobra. You'll get some nice exploration trips out of a Cobra. Has a reasonable jump range and very manoeuvrable ship. Or otherwise try Type 6. A lot cheaper than an ASP, but has near enough the same jump range. What have we got in this system before I move on? The jump range on the Sidewinder can get quite good if you upgrade it. I think you can get about 18 light years out of a Sidewinder. You can't jump very far by default, but if you upgrade it, get an A-rated jump drive, you'll be able to go about 18 light years or so, and you're about to get out to a nebula with that. Head toward the Pleiades Nebula. You'll get there relatively easier. But yeah, farming at extraction sites is also a valid thing to do. I've done that myself. For those of you that may not know, I've also got a YouTube channel. You can see it in the description below. I regularly do some Elite Dangerous videos, most of them exploring various places in the galaxy. Got about 21 episodes, and I'll be making episode 22 in the next few days or so. No Pro Teddy, you'll get quite a few jumps out of a Sidewinder at 18 light years, although maybe only about 3 or so. I can't quite remember. But I think you could probably upgrade the fuel tank as well, although that will reduce your jump range down a little bit. But then you don't need such a large fuel scoop on a Sidewinder to keep refueling. You can certainly make out to the Pleiades in a Sidewinder anyway. I've done that myself. Or actually I used an Eagle. I went half the way in a Sidewinder and bought an Eagle at one of the last outposts. "21 light years in a Sidewinder." Nice. Definitely possible, as you point out. Right, heading toward that purple nebula there in the distance, and then on toward the galactic core, stopping off as I go at any interesting sites. And at the moment we're waiting to find an Earth-like or a gas giant that's right on top of a planet. They're the two things. A gas giant that's right on top of a star, should I say. They're the two things I'm really keen to see. Hi Redeemer, nice to see you. Seen some of the YouTube videos. Okay, it's in Strath. I'll get that approved. I think I've got a few sitting there I need to check out. I haven't done that during the stream. I'll do that after the stream. Gonna need to refuel again. I don't know if I refueled on the last jump, did I? I think I missed it, or else I wasn't able to refuel from that sun. My last stream, I don't know how many of you actually saw that, but I went through a whole region of space with suns I couldn't refuel from. There was all these brown dwarfs, one after the other. And I got right down to a quarter of a tank of fuel, and I was starting to get a little bit worried. So I had to change my jump routing down to economy routing and just do these small 2 light year and 4 light year jumps in the hopes of finding a station Earth sun I could refuel from. Luckily I did, but I had to go about 20 or more jumps before I was actually able to refuel. Thought I was going to get stranded out here in deep space. Yeah, it's an awesome game. I think it's one of those few games that you'll pick up, and a year later you'll find you're still playing it. I've been playing it for a year myself. I've been playing since the first beta, which was actually around about this time last year. Belgigeese, yep, another good destination to go toward. So many of them. Hi Coltalin, thanks for your comment. Nice to hear it's been enjoyed. I only started streaming recently, so I was a little bit unsure how it would be received, a little bit unsure how well I'd be able to manage it actually, but I'm really enjoying doing the streams, so it's nice to hear people are actually liking it as well. The brown dwarfs put a stop to your trip today. Sorry to hear that. The original Elite, yeah. That was a game, wasn't it? I actually played Frontier Elite 2 the most myself. Played that on my old Amiga, and I've still got a boxed copy of that sitting down in the drawer beside me. It was an awesome game for its day, and of course we had planetary landings on that game. We could seamlessly get down to the planets and dock on the landing pads that were down there on the surface. Not to mention we were able to mine the surface of planets as well. Drop off mining drones, couldn't we? And they'd do some mining for us, and we could later come back and collect them. Can't wait for that sort of thing to be added into this game. Talking of planetary landings, have any of you seen Space Engine? I've mentioned it before in a previous stream, but it's actually a little bit of software out there made by one Russian guy, which has not only got an entire galaxy like Elite, it's actually got an entire universe in it. Multiple galaxies, trillions of planets, trillions of stars, and you can actually get down to the surface of every single planet in that game. Stand on alien mountains, stand on alien beaches. You've seen it, the spunk. Great, that's great stuff. Probably going to do a stream on the Space Engine at some point. Certainly try and do a YouTube video of it as well. I'm going to keep going then, unless there's something in this system I want to say. Oh, hang on. Now, what do you guys think? Is that an Earth-like, or is that a high metal content planet? Doesn't seem quite blue enough to be an Earth-like. I'm going to head in that direction for the minute. Let's see how far this star is out. And it's actually very close, so really there's no reason to not go and look at that. Where's this sun? 4,000 light seconds away. That shouldn't take too long. This will be my first Earth-like on this particular exploration trip, if indeed it is an Earth-like. And these are very, very valuable planets to get the data for, especially if I'm the first to discover on this one. You get 50% bonus. I don't think anyone else has been out this way yet. Although you lot are free to come out here anyway if you're nearby and you can see the system name. I'm going to show you Earth so we can get a comparison of what it looks like on the map. You reckon it's a water world, Sinstrath? Yeah, 5-star. I'm definitely keen on doing a stream on Space Engine. Get a little bit distracted there looking at these two planets. Mars, of course, has been terraformed to be Earth-like. Earth is obviously Earth-like because it is Earth, and both of these are very blue. Look at the oceans. Whereas this planet I'm actually going toward, is not vividly blue, is it? So possibly a water world. Took me quite a long time to go to Sinstrath. I've got a permit for it, I guess. It makes a lot of difference. Not everyone's got a permit to get there. Yeah, Mars is nice to see. That's right, Stalker. I actually remember hearing a little bit about that. The drones that are going to be put in place, they're going to be nice. Now, what I'd like to know is, are there going to be any drones that we can leave in a orbit, and then ourselves leave that orbit, only to come back later and pick them up? That would be pretty nice. I don't think they're going quite that far with it, but it would be nice to see. What was it? How far out was it here? I don't want to fly right to that sun. It was the second to last planet out, so that ring is the last one. That one is the one we want to head toward. So you're probably right, Sinstrath. It's probably a water world, but maybe we get lucky and maybe it's an Earth-like. Would be nice. Yeah, fingers crossed, 5-star. Another interesting thing about Space Engine is that it now actually supports the Oculus Rift. So if you've got an Oculus Rift, you can go and stand on a mountain on an alien world, a world that may have rings going around it with the moon hanging very, very close to it, and find yourself standing on this mountain looking up at an alien sky. I've done that myself, and it's an awesome experience to do inside a game. If you're downloading Space Engine directly from the developer, you'll have no problems at all. If McAfee's oh, it's a water world, Sinstrath, you were right, well done. But actually quite a bit more of a bluer water world than we've seen previously, I think. Nice little backdrop there against the galactic core. But yeah, Cotillion, if McAfee's saying that there's a problem downloading Space Engine from the official Space Engine website, I would say McAfee's probably got it wrong in that case. It's probably got a false positive. I've downloaded it myself, as have loads of other people, and not had any problems with it, so up to you of course, but I'd say you're fine with that. Let's get back in this ship. I always seem to have the dark side of my ship facing up, don't I, for some reason. Let's try again. Yeah, light side up, that's what we want. Nice water world with a lovely shot of the galactic core there, and of course my white asp. Not bad, eh? Shame it wasn't an Earth-like though. Really that blue then, Sinstrath? Just goes to show, doesn't it, how even the smallest variations on the game can actually make a difference. I've thought the same myself, Matt say. Then again, the guy behind Space Engine has actually said he'd like to have the game, have Space Engine itself, shall I say, used as a game engine at some point. Got to replot my course now. Let's do that correctly. And off we go. Shame it wasn't an Earth-like, but it was a water world. Second best thing, I guess. Off we go. So a few more steps toward the goal of getting to that lovely purple nebula, which itself is one more step toward getting toward the galactic core. Stopping off on the way at any interesting sights. Maybe we'll see a black hole or two on the way. Yeah, Redeemer. Frontier not quite confirmed that they're going to be Thargoids in Elite, but that's only because they don't actually want to say there are going to be Thargoids in Elite. They want it to be a surprise. I've been at one of the conferences with David Braben and spoken to him about it, and he just kept his lips closed and he smiled when asked about Thargoids in Elite Dangerous. So I think it's pretty much that we can take it that they're going to be here. Nothing in this system. Let's keep going for the moment. Yeah, some flight mechanics in a Space Engine would be awesome. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Cotillion. Appreciate your viewing. I'd be very surprised if there's no Thargoids. I'm hoping they turn up out the blue, that some intrepid explorer comes across some system out here that happens to be inhabited by the Thargoids, and that causes them to start heading towards Earth. That would be a pretty neat way of them coming back in the game, initiated by a player. Another binary star system here. I love coming across these. Seen a couple of trinary systems on this trip so far. They're the ones with the 3 suns. You get them every so often. I'm going to do what I did before here, just fly away from these stars a little bit and come round just to get a little bit of a view of the binary stars there. And for those of you that are used to seeing the galactic core from the central systems, the civilized systems, you'll notice that it actually looks quite a bit different out here. And that's because I'm getting closer to it and getting slightly above it. Where are those suns? Where are those two stars? Spinning around here and not actually finding them. Get myself turned around a little bit. Where they gone? Losing yourself in space. There they are. Two stars. Let's shoot right between them. And then jump again off to the next system, I guess. Of course, unless there's an Earth-like here, which there may be. No Earth-likes, just suns of various forms. Off we go. Yeah, Elite does make it feel a lot more fun, but at the same time with Space Engine you get to see a lot more in a short period of time. Yeah, to the left, you was watching Razor Tex. I totally got myself lost. I hope these ships really are totally alien to us. Spunk. The spunk. A few more discoveries. A few more discoveries on our way to the nebula. What have we got? Not much. Let's keep going. Quite a few jumps really at the moment. Nebulas are spaced quite a distance apart, so generally they take quite a while to get to, but they're always well worth it when you are there. Well worth it. Actually had quite a lot of good jumps this time. On one of the previous streams I've got a number of disconnects during the hyperspace jumps. Don't want to tempt it by asking about it this time, but you always know when it's going to happen because you just get a perpetual jump sequence which never seems to come to an end. You wonder if you're going to end up either kicked back to the main menu or end up in another galaxy when you come out the other end. Be interesting, wouldn't it? 20 objects. Maybe something here that we can take a look at. Well, there's a water world there. I'll probably go and scan that because that's worth a bunch of money. And then I'll move off. So that's just the second planet out, which we're actually just coming up on now. So as I mentioned previously in the stream, this exploration trip I actually want to be my longest one yet. My previous one was between 35 to 40 days, I think. It might have been a bit longer, but I'm aiming at 50 days this time, and anything longer than that would be good indeed. I'd really like to do 2 months if possible. 2 months from being docked, and I'm going to overshoot this, but that's okay because I've already scanned it. Let's do a rapid flyby. Rather blue looking planet there. Got a nice glimpse of some atmospheric effects there as we shot by, but we're not going to hang around too much there because I want to get to that nebula. I want to get to that purple nebula, which is getting closer, isn't it? Look at it there, hanging there near the galactic claw. Made 4 million credits, Razor Tex. That's nice. Yeah, they've bumped up the profitability of scanning. I tend not to do too many detailed scans because I like to try and get to my destinations as fast as possible, but of course that does mean I bypass a lot of the money I could otherwise make. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Redeemer. I appreciate your watching. I'll catch you soon. Did we scan? Only 2 objects this time, so I suspect there's two or three suns. Yep, 2 or 3 stars. Gonna keep going. Looking for an Earth-like. Looking for a gas giant right near the sun. Water worlds are also planets I'll definitely scan. High metal content planets. I will probably scan them as I get more toward the destination. They're certainly worth scanning because they're valuable, but I'd like to try and get to where I'm going. Yeah, Razor Tech. Lots of people have scanned the nebulas already. The systems you're going to claim for yourself are going to be the ones en route, especially if you take a slightly different direction to what most people go. Yeah, I think that makes sense though, Firestar. Why not? The ice one. So, I don't know if any of you have been out to this nebula yet, have you? This is where I'm going. Lovely colours here. And of course the thing you really want to check is if the nebula you're heading toward, before you get there, if it's got stars inside of it, and this one of course has. I'm not quite centered on it. Let's get centered on it, because if it hasn't got stars inside of it, you're not actually going to be able to get inside of it, which means in some respects it's a little bit of a wasted trip. But that's where I'm heading toward now. I've just come from the Cat's Nebula. I've been to the Lagoon Nebula as well, but this is getting me closer to the core systems. A water-based life on a gas giant. Haven't seen that myself. Interesting find. Yeah, Firestar, I think I'll probably be the same. Been playing the game for a long time. That's what I did in the end, Sintreth. My last excursion out, I just wanted to get back. So I just kept jumping regardless of what I was skipping. Just a bit of a shame in some ways that there aren't relays out here that you can send your data back on, or at least do some way of just having your data transported back. Don't know, maybe I'm asking for too much, or maybe I'm just asking for an easy mode or something like that. Either way, I'm happy playing it as it is. It's all fun. Yeah, it was a little bit like my last trip out, Razor Tech. So I had a pretty badly cracked canopy, and when you've got a ship full of data, you really don't want to take too many risks because you end up potentially losing it. Another water world, I think. Let's see if we can get to that one. Shame, because the ones with clouds, they do look a lot more Earth-like than the water worlds without the clouds. There we go. That was the first planet, wasn't it? Have I backtracked out? No, that's the first planet from the sun. Not like Earth, the third rock from the sun. This is the first rock from the sun, and it's probably a water world. But maybe one suitable for terraforming, or maybe one with life, maybe one with both, each of which adds to its value, and being the first to discover it also adds to its value significantly. Look at the backdrop there. Really starting to look different the closer we get. Can't wait to get right in amongst that. A water world. But is it one that's suitable for terraforming? That's a debug camera. I don't really want to look at that just at the moment. I did want the system map. Water world. What have we found? Terrestrial water world with an active water-based chemistry and carbon-based life. So worth scanning. Quite a good amount of value to that. But scanning that doesn't get me any closer to the nebula I'm heading towards, does it? The lovely purple nebula we can just see down there off to the right.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, dude, I think that would be quite a nice idea. Some sort of drone that can just do a bunch of hyper jumps to get its way back to civilized space, and maybe you can only stock 2 or 3 of them on your ship. So if you're going out for a long journey, you'd have to really think about as and when you want to send a thing out, because you send them out too early, you're going to need them later on and have wasted them. But I think that would add an extra dimension to the game, wouldn't it?
Fuel scooping.
And there's quite a few systems out this way with a lot of planets in. Sometimes you go a whole bunch of jumps without anything other than the central star. No Earthlikes there, so we're going to keep jumping for the moment.
Frameshift drive charging.
I haven't checked every sun in advance on this route, so I don't know what star class I'm going to come across. Sometimes you jump right into a blue system or trinary star system. Well, yeah, that's a valid point, Lewis. If you had a satellite to send your exploration data back, it would take longer than you perhaps, but you know, I wouldn't mind that too much. I wouldn't mind if I was out here for a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever and got back home and have my probe arrive after me. I mean, I could sell the data myself in the meantime. At least if I exploded, I would have my probe arrive at some time later on with the data intact, even if it was at a later date. One object, unless that's a black hole. I'm sure it's not anything of much interest. Nope. What have we got on the route here? Still going up a bit high, I think, aren't I? Jump back out the map for the jump sequence. Yes, Razor Tex, that'd be great, being able to go out there and rescue people. I think something like that is going to start happening pretty soon, because apparently the next patch has got drones in there and they're going to allow us to refuel other players. So I think there's going to be the opportunities to go start rescuing people. Would be nice.
Fuel scooping.
I'm in the UK, Sinstrath. I've got my broadcasting is green across the board here. It's within my bandwidth parameters, so I'm not seeing any issues this end. Sorry to hear you're having trouble with it though. No neutron stones, Babushi, unfortunately. Neutron stars. Did I say neutron stones? You know, one of those moments where you're wondering what you actually just said. Hi there, Voiter. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Nice to see you here. Yeah, that's the thing. A way of sending out an emergency broadcast. Of course, if they do send out an emergency broadcast, they also risk pirates picking up on their signal, don't they? Wouldn't it be nice? Perhaps not nice for our explorers, but it had an extra dimension to the game if pirates could come out here and somehow hijack your exploration data. Perhaps I shouldn't suggest that. It might not make a lot of people very happy. I was thinking the same, Lewis. Neutron stone, yeah. Poor old suns.
Fuel scooping.
Oh look, 49 objects. Now, unless all of these are
Fuel scoop disengaged.
asteroid belts, we might have something interesting here. A whole bunch of high metal content planets. Valuable, but they're not going to be interesting enough for me to stop off at for the moment. I don't think I'm going to do a few more jumps before I start scanning planets like that, unless you actually want to see them. Yeah, 1.3, look forward to hearing more about it. Should add to the game significantly, hopefully. One thing I've got to commend Frontier on really is how often they add content to the game.
Fuel scooping.
What have we got here? 5 objects, not a whole lot, but you never know. Sometimes you get a whole bunch of good planets in one go. Not this time though. Gonna keep going. Yes, that's right, Ant Dude. I'm a little bit concerned in some respects. Not concerned, perhaps that's the wrong word, but I wonder about Frontier's strategy of moving stations out toward the edges of civilized space rather than putting out outposts 1,000 light years out or so. Because you think how small the civilized area of space actually is. If they're only putting stations just a few light years out each time, it's going to take decades for civilized space to expand enough that it's actually anywhere near some of the closest nebulas. We really need to start putting outposts out there. Put an outpost in Pleiades, put an outpost out in Bernard's Loop. Scientific outposts, I'm sure there would be a need for them to be there. A lot of scientific data to gather. Have some pirate outposts out there, and perhaps some relays for the military and whatnot. Because civilized space actually is so small that just expanding it by a few stations here and there is going to take a long time to get anywhere, any significant distance. Well, Declan Marshall, I do remember just before the release of Gamma, David Braben was doing a talk, and he was suggesting that when explorers find particularly valuable systems, and of course this wouldn't be every single system, it would be systems that maybe have an Earth-like planet or something else of significant value, that you could take that data back and one of the 3 factions would race to go and populate it with a station. But it seems they, at the moment at least, Frontier have taken a slightly different direction toward populating other systems, but that would be one way of players initiating a outpost being built in other systems, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'd love to see a space station out in Bernard's Loop. Gives you a whole different area to explore, and that looks like Mars as it currently looks like in our time, rather than how it looks like in Elite. Look at the galactic cloud here. Really starting to look different, isn't it? The galactic core and the clouds coming off of it. Still heading towards that little purple nebula there.
Ready to engage.
A few jumps to go. I'm not aligned correctly, am I? Fortunately, you don't overheat at the pace you used to when you weren't correctly aligned. More complex missions would be nice.
Fuel scooping.
9 new objects discovered on our journey toward that
Scooping complete.
purple nebula. What have we got this time? Oh, another high metal content planet. As this one's quite close by, I'll break up the jump in and go have a look at the planet. Let's have to give us something else to look at for the minute. I can hear the roaring of that sun though. Got a little bit close to it, didn't I? But a little bit difficult to find the first sun, first planet here, as they're all, look at the orbit lines, they're all over the shop. Most of them are that way though, so I'll fly away at this angle and come back toward the first planet. Perhaps it should be that one. I'll check though. You can't always assume it's that the planet on the first orbit ring is the one that's closest to you, relatively speaking. Now I've lost focus here. I've done this before. I've got mouse look on. Yeah, I've got mouse look on. End up wondering what the heck's going on there when you can't get focus again. And yeah, the closest planet to me was the first one on the orbit lines there. The first one nearest the sun. Not always the case, which is why I fly up and away from the sun. So this here should be a high metal content planet. I'll take a quite fast flyby of it, but I'll try and get quite close to it as well. These ones hold a fair amount of value for the scan data, so if they're nearby they're worth scanning, because when you take the data back it all adds up. As was mentioned earlier in the stream, adds up to quite a few million in some cases. I'm actually going to go too fast past that there. Let's come back round. I zoomed right past that, didn't I? It's probably going to be a tiny speck in the distance again there. And yeah, it's a high metal content planet. Potentially one that's suitable for terraforming perhaps. We'll have a look for that bit of information in a moment. Let's take a nice flyby of this planet though. There we go. Nice to see these planets from a different angle, isn't it? Along with that unusual, somewhat unusual angle of the galactic core, we don't get to see too much near the central space. I'll keep jumping. Unfortunately, the nebula is still a fair ways off, so we won't be there too soon. Yeah, especially when those 64 objects have, you know, darn well got metal planets and water worlds in there. You spend quite a while there. Thanks for the link, Aunt Jude. I'll have a look at that in a little while. Definitely interested to see that.
Fuel scooping complete.
For those of you that may have only just joined, I'm heading toward the nebula that's near the galactic core. You can't quite see it from here. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a horse throat here. Sorry about that. Heading toward that nebula there. Quite a few jumps left to go. But that needs a destination, and then onward toward the galactic core. And if you do feel inclined to check out the description below in the channel, I've got a YouTube channel with a bunch of exploration videos in from Elite that I've been going back over the past 6 months or so, but I've been all over various different nebulas and a whole bunch of other different things. You might like to check it out. Right, I think I'm going to do... Oh, look at this. This is quite interesting. We've only got a couple of jumps here in the navigation panel, and that's because all the other suns are out of range. We're getting to an area within the galaxy where many of the stars are actually out of range of my jump drive. And bear in mind I've got 31.7 jump range on this ship. So I think I'm going to do a couple more jumps, and that will probably bring us toward the end of this stream, and hopefully get closer to that nebula, or even in that nebula on the next stream. Let's see what we find through here. White star, but with how many planets in this system? Just 3. I suspect there will also be stars of some type. Look at that. 2 whites, a yellow, another yellow. Now, as you can see again on the nav panel, oh, you can't see it there now, but there was only about 3 or 4 systems within range again, so definitely in an area of space that's a little bit more sparse. And what I'll do actually is, on the next jump I'm going to fly away from the stars here. When you're near them, the brightness of the stars actually block out a lot of the visuals from the surrounding environment, so I'll fly away from those stars and we'll have a look at how many stars there are actually in the sky here. Oh, did you see that other star that was right near me there? Whizzed past me on the left. And there it is, a little bit further away than I thought it might be. So, as I said, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to fly away from this sun here, and let's have a look at how many stars in the sky in the distance here start fading into view. Bear in mind, they're usually quite densely populated, the star fields are. It may be a case that it's slightly less densely populated. My suspicion for that is simply due to the reduced amount of stars on the navigation panel here. And I don't know how well you can make out on the video, but there's some dark galactic dust around there. And the galactic core itself has lost a little bit of its coloration, but it's actually getting quite large now, the core itself. Let's bring that around and have a bit of a look at it. There we go, that's our destination there. Our 2 destinations actually, the purple nebula ahead and then the galactic core. But for now I think I'm going to call an end to the stream right here. I really appreciate you all watching. Got quite a good number of viewers here, so I hope you've enjoyed it all. I've enjoyed doing the stream immensely, really have been liking doing this, and I'm going to keep it up, and I'll try and get a regular schedule for this streaming put in place. May help out. As you can see below, I've also put a link to Twitter, so I'll give a notification to some of you who may be so inclined to want to know that on Twitter if you haven't got the subscription on for the subscription notification on for Twitch itself, if that's okay. So yeah, thanks for watching. A pleasure, Lewis. Really enjoyed doing it. Been nice having you, Babouche. Thank you. You're welcome. Nice to have you all stop by. Really appreciate your viewing. See you, Black Sheep Kitty. Thanks again, Ant Dude. See you all soon. See you, sharks.